At some point, if sports programs and franchises are to make their way back up, they must first hit rock bottom. The question of the day is, have the New Orleans Saints and LSU Tigers hit said rock bottom for this particular cycle? Can they begin to climb up once again with games against division and conference rivals, the Carolina Panthers and Alabama Crimson Tide, respectively? Or will this just be another unwatchable weekend of football? Please, for the love of all that's holy in this world, we cannot take another week of terrible football. So join in as we have a 90-minute or more prayer session and we rise our favorite teams from the dead, like the Phoenix from the ashes, like UBN from 0-3 to a winning week, like our Dat family from once hating Mickey Loomis to... Okay, Derry, stop with the dumb stuff and start the Dattitude podcast, for crying out loud. Sorry, y'all. Here we go. I think.
If you're looking for the latest scoop and in-depth interviews on the Saints, the NFL, the Pelicans, LSU, along with the best bets of the week, then lucky you. Along with high-powered, in-the-know guests who cover our teams, Jim Derry brings plenty of Dattitude. And he'll always tell you the way it is, or at least the way he thinks it is.
Where you at, Dattitude family? It is Fun Friday. We're going to have some fun today. I promise you, we are going to have fun, and we're going to do it with our regular Friday crew. They can't stop us. Nobody can stop us. We're on a roll. So let's keep on rolling with Dattitude, episode number 437, presented by Evangeline Securities for a Friday, November the 7th, 2025. You know who I am. I am your host, Jim Derry, 35 plus years on the New Orleans sports media scene. And I thank you for being a part of this ever-growing Dattitude family, even if it's on some of the same places, it's on different. You found it, and you have stayed with us, and we appreciate that so much. What is special about our show if you're new and you don't know? Well, first we ask you to subscribe and like to the Dattitude YouTube page. That's how we're going to keep on growing. Besides getting some sponsors, we're working on that. News on that coming up. Also, what's different about the show is we show comments. You talk to us, we talk back to you. That is how we spend a lot of our show each and every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday live at 11 a.m. Central Time. And if you can get in touch with me, you can find me as you see here on X at Jim Derry Jr., or you can email me at jimderry.com. Jimderry.com, by the way, is coming up very soon. We are working on it. Hopefully, I hope to have it up. I'm gonna say maybe early December. That's kind of my goal. And so I might have little blogs in there. I might have put all my shorts in there, put all the shows, able to find it. We'll see how it's going to work. But that is on its way, and that is coming up. What is on today's show, you ask? Well, you know what's on today's show. I'm not having this problem again. Gabe, can you, if the lead slide is not up, can you click on it? I'm not sure if it is or not, but click on that for me. I'm having some issues again this morning. What is on the show? You know it. Zach Ewing is here. NOLA.com, Saints editor and assistant sports editor. He will be here this morning as he usually is. Come on about 11:30-ish. We're going to have maybe an extended monologue. Maybe talk a little bit more than usual because I do need to fit in the Pelicans because, hey, in case you haven't noticed, and judging by the attendance, you haven't, the New Orleans Pelicans have won 2 games in a row. That's right, 2 games in a row. Who'd have thunk it? I mean, I didn't know if they'd win 2 games by the end of November. And they won 2 games in a row, and they did it without Zion, and now Jordan Poole's out 7 to 10 days. Go figure. I mean, what is going on with this franchise? Have you ever seen a franchise more, I mean, at least in the last 5 to 10 years, just doomed by injuries over and over and over and over again? Now, look, I'm not talking about the injuries where someone wants to take a game off or 2 games off or whatever, and whatever, they're just going to give them a time off. I mean, actual injuries. It's amazing. But They won their last 2 games, and they've kind of done it without Zion and Jordan Poole, right? Anyway, we'll get into the Pelicans a little bit later. Of course, we're going to talk about LSU, Alabama. Tulane is playing Memphis tonight. We'll get into that. The Saints at Panthers, or anything different about this week? Will Tyler Shough have a better week? Will the Saints be able to hold the football for longer than 16 minutes and 7 seconds, which is what they did last week, a franchise low and one of the worst in NFL history. They're going to have to do that. So that is big. What about and we'll make our picks, by the way. LSU, Tulane, and Saints. We're going to make Zach and I will make our picks for all 3 of those games. Then we're going to have, the Pick'em crew is here. We're going to have our best bets of the week. A certain member of the Pick'em crew went 0-3 last week. The other ones went 2-1. And the guy that went 0-3 had a really, really bad week. Spoiler alert. Not making any. There are no excuses on this show. We do not make excuses. We just flat out stunk. We stunk. Stunk. So we're going to try to redeem ourselves. I'm going to tell you how I'm going to redeem myself. I'm still 17-10 against the spread for the year with an 0-3 on my record last week. I'll take it. Some news from around the NFL yesterday. Our prayers and go out to the family of Marshawn Nealon, the defensive lineman for the Dallas Cowboys, who apparently took his own life after a car chase Wednesday night into Thursday morning. And I don't think we know all that's going on with that yet. Hopefully we will find out. But regardless, the kid scored a touchdown and after a block punt, played special teams against the Arizona Cardinals on Monday. And, 2 nights later, a car chase with police, kills himself. Apparently kills himself anyway. So anyway, that's a tough one. And I lose words for things like this because it's hard to fathom someone with that much promise in front of him that thinks his life is that bad that he needs to kill himself. Again, that's allegedly. So we'll find out. Hopefully we'll find out more about what happened there. And again, our prayers go out to the Nealon family. Also, some not great news either. Antonio Brown, did y'all see this yesterday? The former wide receiver. You want to talk about dummy? I mean, come on, man. Arrested on attempted murder charge, a May shooting after a celebrity boxing event in Miami. He was taken into custody in Dubai and is being extradited to the United States. From the ESPN story, he says, quote, well, this is from the ESPN story. He wrote this apparently on his X account. It's quoted here in ESPN. I was, quote, jumped by multiple individuals who tried to steal my jewelry and cause physical harm to me. Contrary to some video circulating, police temporarily detained me until they received my side of the story and then released me. And all caps says, I went home that night and was not arrested. I'll be talking to my legal counsel. Well, of course you will. And attorneys, well, duh, on pressing charges and the individuals that jumped me. I mean, look, a man is innocent until proven guilty. But how much crap is going on with Antonio Brown? And you just hope. And look, I don't know what happened, but I will say this. I know enough to have seen Antonio Brown throughout the past 15 years or whatever it is, 15, 17 years to know that dude needs psychological help. And I hope he gets it one day. I hope you have to admit that you need the help first. And I don't think he's ever admitted that. And Antonio Brown, whether he actually is, guilty of whatever they're going to charge him with, we'll see. We'll get to more of that. But at some point later on, we'll be talking more about that. But Antonio Brown, just insane. I mean, and I don't mean him. I just mean the whole situation is insane. But he needs to get help. And apparently he doesn't want any. And look, you can't keep things. No, things like this don't happen to normal. I mean, how many people does this happen to? Whether they be in the NFL, NBA, baseball, whatever, athletes, celebrities, whatever. This is not something that happens often. And it's not something that happens recurringly to the same people. If it happens to the same people, there's a reason why it happens to the same people. Again, I don't know what happened here. I don't know whether he'll be guilty or not, but Antonio Brown always seems to be in some sort of fire, and I hope he can find his way out of it. How about some more fun news? Getting back to the actual game of football again as we go on this morning. I'm going to get into the Pels and get into our comments in just a minute. Zach Ewing will be on about 11:30 as we get into LSU Tulane and the Saints. How many football troopers out there made it through the Broncos Raiders game last night? 10-7. Did y'all take the under with me? What are we, like, I don't know, 5 or 6 in a row on Thursday nights? I've slipped a little on Monday night, although I won this past Monday. I think I lost the Monday before that, but I'm telling you, the picks that we make on Monday and Thursday night football have been outstanding. Now, not that our best bets have been bad because they've been pretty good too, but not as good as our Monday night, Thursday night picks have been outstanding. We told you we love the under. I told you I love the under this week. I love the under Monday night. I love the under Thursday. They both hit. Just saying. And this is a weird, speaking of unders, this is a weird week of weather. Y'all need to check out the weather. And when you go look at the over-under totals this week, you might want to think about playing some unders because there's going to be some weird weather on Sunday, especially across the Midwest and into the Northeast. So take a look at that. Windy conditions, rainy conditions, maybe even a couple snowy conditions. Might want to take a look at that. That might have something to do with maybe 1 or 2 of my picks later on. We'll see. And along the lines of the Broncos and their 10-7 victory over the hapless Las Vegas Raiders, who the Raiders did everything last night to make the Broncos a winner by route. And this is why I told Gabe I did not like I wouldn't have touched I guess if you were playing the line one way or the other, I guess you'd take the Broncos. But weird things happen on Thursday night. That was the headline of the Thursday night game. And they do. And you think I wasn't sweating about having that knockout pick? I was making fun of Zach last night, and he'll come on and Zach kind of talked me in. And again, it's my own fault, but no fault. I ended up winning. But Zach talked me into taking the Broncos instead of Panthers this week in my knockout pool. And I was regretting that for a little while. I ended up breezing by, but let me tell you, Thursday night, weird things happen. But I want to get to Sean Payton for 1 second. Again, I see how there's a ton of comments in the queue, and I'd be interested to get y'all's thoughts on this. Sean Payton, I have said this over and over again, and it's blasphemy when you say it. I know, I get it. Is he better than anything we've had since he left? Of course he is. So don't get me wrong when I say this. And you can use the word overrated, and someone could still be good. Sean Payton is overrated, okay? He hasn't changed. The one thing that just used to piss me off just to no end with Sean Payton, besides the fact that how he treated some people in the media, especially females. That's a whole different story. But one of the things that really, really ticked me off is he would come up with at least 1 or 2 trick plays for every game, okay? Some play that just wanted to make him show how smart he is, how much smarter he is than everyone else. And then works like maybe 25% of the time. And he's going to call that trick play no matter what. If it's on the sheet, it's going to get called. He has to use it. He has always done this. And he did it last night, and it almost bit him in the ass. He had 2 trick plays, and he did them both on 3rd and 1. Just run the freaking football. I don't understand. I mean, he's supposed to be this offensive mastermind. I'm sorry. I don't agree. Is he, again, he's by far better than anything Saints have had since he left. No question about it. But I just think that sometimes he just overthinks himself. He does it all the time. And it came out in the second half, and they started running the football successfully, and then he got away from it again. Broncos are going to get their asses kicked in the playoffs. Can you imagine if they're the 2 seed and they have to play the 7th-seeded Baltimore Ravens in round 1? Bye-bye. That's an absolute possibility right now. That's if they win the division, because I'm still not sold they're going to win the division. I know a lot of people are. Bo Nix sucks. Okay? Maybe sucks is a little strong. He's average at best. Okay? And I don't understand what Peyton, the quarterback whisperer, saw in Bo Nix, but really, other than Drew Brees, what quarterback has Sean Payton picked that ever turned out to be fantastic? I'll wait. Well, I guess maybe Tony Romo if you count him, but that was kind of a collaborative effort. I'm just saying. When you're as successful as Peyton was with Drew Brees, it is what it is. He's talking bad about Sean Payton. What's wrong with this idiot? Just saying. When the Broncos get their asses kicked in round one of the playoffs and they're not really better than they were last year, just saying. It's a lot of just sayings. I get it. Before we get to the rest of the show and some comments, let me tell you about our friends at Evangeline Securities. Of course, they're a company that can help you decide if it's the right time to sell your family-run or privately held business. And just as importantly, they can figure out what that business is worth. If that's you or someone you know, it's time to reach out to Evangeline's founding and managing partners, Nick Braden and Ron Hemel. They will start by scheduling a complimentary valuation of your business from their offices, either on Poydras Street or in Lafayette. That's where their offices are. And from there, you will be well-informed, to begin to make the decision on if you want to proceed. What happens after that? You'll have to wait. Not the rest of your life yet. We'll fill you in more later in the show. In the meantime, you can check them out at www.evangelinesecurities.com. All right, Gabe wants to come on real quick. He's chomping at the bit. What do you got to say?
So there's a bunch of people in the comments. I know you haven't looked yet. There's a bunch of people in the comments that are kind of roasting you for saying that Sean Payton's overrated.
I'm sure it's good. I knew that.
But let me just point this out. And this is a tweet from @TA_Stabs on Twitter. They put it out last night. The Broncos' resume includes wins over the 3-6 Jake Browning-led Bengals, the 2-7 Geno Smith-led Raiders,
correct,
by 3 points, the 3-5 Davis Mills-led Texans by 3 points, the 1-7 Justin Fields-led Jets, 13-11, the 2-7 Jackson Dart-led Giants by 1 point, and the 1-8 Cam Ward-led Titans by 1 score.
Correct.
So anyone who is coming at Jim for the record, that is perhaps the worst resume in football.
And I will say this before I let you go and bring you back later for best bets, but the betting market rankings, and these are straight from what the odds makers think. The odds makers think that Denver is the 11th best team in the NFL. So, and I actually think that's a little high, but they are just ahead of San Francisco, behind the Chargers at 10, the Colts at 9, the Seahawks at 8, the Eagles at 7, and then you can guess the other. By the way, the Ravens are 5th. So if you want to use record doesn't mean jack to me, buddy. What matters is, hey, number one is the eye test. That's how I figure out what my bets are. You know?
Randall's in the comments saying, Denver plays in the best division in football. Perhaps, but they've played 2 teams in their division.
Right.
They lost to the Chargers, and they struggled heavily and should have lost to the Raiders.
Spoiler alert, whatever that line is against the Chiefs, I'm probably going to take the Chiefs. That might be one of my best bets. We'll go. But I will see you in a little bit. We got to get rolling. We got 10 minutes till Zach comes on, and I got to do some comments. See you in a bit. All right, let's get to the comments because I want to talk to the Pels. I can feel them coming, baby. I can feel them coming. I'm going to try to go as fast as I can because we've got a ton of them in here. Brian Cabot, good morning. Here's to a great weekend of football. I sure hope so. Slow Houdat, good morning from California Central Coast. Thanks to Jim for keeping us informed about everything Saints. We appreciate it here out in the boondocks. We appreciate you for coming on. Ryan Chano, good morning, Dattitude family. How about them Broncos? Boy, he doesn't want me talking bad about the Broncos. Ryan Chano is a big Broncos fan. Charles Mangus, good morning. Well, whoever bet on Denver lost money. Close game. Pels out of the basement. 2-6. Can they make it 3-6? We'll see tomorrow night. We'll talk about them in a little bit. Apathy, another miserable weekend for the home teams. It hasn't started yet. Good Lord. Do you hang out with Mark Satanovich and y'all just talk about how much you hate life? Come on, man. Give him a chance, for crying out loud. Brian S. Steve, good morning. I'm worried that we could be in store for an 0-3 weekend for our teams. Another one. Boy, y'all are hating already. Come on, man. Or we couldn't end up with 3 surprises. There's no way of knowing. Of course there's not. Musette, good morning. As for Sunday, there's always hope. Of course, without hope, life is meaningless, right? Chad Gage is here. Jim Gabe, UBN, distinguished guest. Good day to you. Well, he will be on in just a little bit. What else we got going on? Dylan Smith, good morning. We appreciate you being here. Rocky's here. Happy Friday. Dat Nation, bestest host on the podcast planet. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Hakeem is here. Big dog. What up? One Smoke. Good morning. Hakeem also says, by the way, looking forward to seeing how LSU and the Saints complete this weekend. Go Tigers, who dat for life. Hashtag. By the way, I told you y'all about my week, and there's no AC in the dungeon. Why I decided to wear it's a light sweater, but man, it is hot in the dungeon this morning, and I can't go change. Oh my God, it's hot in the dungeon. Maybe it's hot because I know it's about to come up because I'm about to catch up to where I started talking bad about Sean Payton. God forbid anybody say anything bad about Sean Payton. Happy Friday, Christopher Crump. He's already making his prediction. Save your prediction for when we get there. You could show, I'll tell you now. Saints win 21-19. Rocky wants to know, does LSU reach out to Coach Shough to Shepard about the coaching vacancy? I think Shepard's going to stay in the NFL. That's my opinion. Jimmy Rosen's here. Good morning. What else we got going on? Adam Varner is here. Saints and Pelicans both have constant injuries. We've talked about this for years. Not going to change. Adam Varner says he's going to be out. He's not going to be able to stay around long. So its predictions are Panthers 27, Saints 24, LSU 28. Alabama 34, LSU 28. Okay. Mark Gapsky, good morning. Who dat? Bill, sad story with Antonio Brown. You mean with Nealon and Antonio Brown? I think you probably mean Nealon, but for sure. Absolutely. Randall, are we ready for the Arctic blast? You better believe it, I am. I know UBN's not, and I wish I could show you what he's wearing right now in the green room, but then he would scare everyone off, and the show would end probably tomorrow, and I'd never get another subscriber ever again. Just saying. But in his defense, he has the shirt of the year that he's going to wear when he actually comes on the show in a little bit. By the way, UBN, you missed the open. I talked about you in the intro. What else we got? Let's see. Randall also says if the Raiders and Saints played, it would end in a 6-6 tie. Absolutely not. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Rob Fan Guy, good morning. Too bad somebody didn't put Thursday Night Football under their best bets. 25 point. The Thursday Night Football under in their best bets. It's too bad that someone did. This guy did. If y'all joined me, y'all won some money yesterday. Houghton and Saints says Peyton is all about himself. Absolutely. Oh, did I say that out loud? I didn't mean to say that out loud. I'm not trying to lose anybody. Oh, there go the numbers. Just talking bad about Sean Payton. Fake retired, then jump to a new team quick. He's a great coach as long as you only expect to lose in the playoffs. I can't say you're wrong. Just saying. Ryan Ashe, they aren't winning the division and they will be exiting the playoffs quickly. Yep. Ovide, good morning. Welcome back. S. Callie, good morning. We are glad that you are here. Bill says it's nice and warm in New Mexico. I bet it is. It's actually nice and, nice. It's warm and humidity. It's kind of like we're going to be all over the place. Damon is not with us. Okay, so those of you who don't know and you just jumped on and you've missed the last week or whatever, I'm not going to get into the whole thing about me leaving NOLA.com and all that stuff. But anyway, so I am on my own now. It is going to be the Dattitude podcast with Jim Derry. We are forming our own company. Haven't done that yet. Tell you more about that hopefully next week. But Damon Singleton is not going to be with us anymore. The weather segment is gone, at least for now. We may bring it back at some point, but it is gone. But the weather for this weekend for New Orleans is going to be warm today and tomorrow. But that Arctic blast is definitely coming through. And if you didn't know this already, it's going to affect pretty much most of the country. It's supposedly the high on the North Shore on Monday. It's high 55, low 30. They say it could even potentially get in the 20s. UBN wants to come to Mandeville just to be able to feel it, what it's going to feel like up here on the North Shore. Be funny. Barry Barnesfather's here. Planters 27, Saints 21. He's a planter. I know you meant Panthers. You're already picking against the Saints. Everybody's going to pick against the Saints. Not everybody. Maybe not. We'll see. A-Town is here. Good morning. I should start a GoFundMe for an air conditioner. And I am very anti-GoFundMe, A-Town. I'm just going to say that. don't get me wrong. I like money as much as the next person, but I'm again, unless it's like for a really important special. I mean, people make GoFundMe's for all kinds of stuff. However, let's just say that fixing this air conditioner has cost me a lot of money this summer. This better be it. Okay. This is the fourth time now. Next week, the new compressor is coming out and they're going to fix it. I don't want to say how much it's going to cost me. Let's just say it's going to be a lot. Okay. And it's not coming at a good time, but hopefully this is it. Once they fix this thing, we'll be fine out here in the dungeon. Sigh. It is what it is. UBN's right. I need to call Tony Maurice at Cool Breeze AC and Heating. Free plug for my friend out in Gretna. But I've already got I've got a regular. He's coming out this week. Anyway. Dylan Smith, Sean Payton is such an ass. Never liked his arrogance. Brandon wants to know, will Antonio Brown be allowed to continue roasting people on Twitter from prison? No comment. Chad Gage says he truly believes if we had a coach like McVay with Breeze, we win multiple Super Bowls. Payton was okay as a coach with a loaded team. Yeah, I'm not saying, look, that's what I said before. Look, I'm not saying Sean Payton was a bad coach. But you can be, it's like I always talk about LeBron being overrated. Okay. I think LeBron is the most overrated player in the history of basketball. However, that doesn't mean I don't think he's a fantastic, great top 10 basketball player. Both of those things can be true. So when I say that about LeBron, it's the same thing I say about Sean Payton. Sean Payton, to me, is an overrated football coach. Doesn't mean he's not a good football coach, but he's not the end all be all. Because end all be alls win more than one championship. It's my opinion. Oh, and good morning. UBN wants to know who I'm on next. Am I going to say bad things about Drew Brees? Yeah. Barry, y'all going too fast for me. Barry says, new compressor unit's probably too old. Get a new one. No, it's not too old. It's under warranty. That's how new it is. And it's actually a mini split. It's less than 2 years old. So it's under warranty. The only bad thing about a warranty is you still have to have the compressor shipped and you have to pay for the labor. One smoke says he won't tolerate LeBron disrespect. It is what it is. You can call it whatever you want. He's overrated, and he's definitely 100% not the greatest player in the history of the NBA. And honestly, I don't even know if he's in the top 5. There you go. Zach says he's going to be a little bit late, like 5 minutes. So good. That gives me time to talk about the Pelicans. Sorry. Charles Mangus, Michael Jordan is the best basketball player. It's not even close. It's literally not close. We're not doing that today. But I'm just trying to tell you where I'm at and what I think. Whether you agree with me with LeBron or whether you agree with me and Payton, I'm just saying both things can be true, that someone is overrated and still good, very good, or even great. You know? Ovide says, congratulations on the move. Hope it thrives as much as it has. I know it will because we have y'all. Who dat, baby? He thinks Tyler Shough will do well in this game. He'll be more familiar with the starters. Yeah, I think I think that he will. I think he'll be better. Does that mean he's going to be great? I don't know. And ask Callie, yeah, we didn't even talk about Drew Brees taking another stab at sports announcing to take the Mark Sanchez job. Look, I'm going to tell you this. As someone who started out of the blue, and I listened to myself doing play-by-play when I started play-by-play 11 years ago. And I listen to myself doing play-by-play now, okay? Let's just say I wouldn't want to listen to me 11 years ago. Now, some people wouldn't want to listen to me now. But, I mean, how much different I've become, how much better I've become in doing play-by-play. Listen to it. Go back and listen to episode, 1 through 10 or whatever this podcast. You can find it on SoundCloud. You can find them on Apple, wherever you get your podcast. They were audio only back then. But go find those. Just listen to the podcast from the beginning when we started this in 2021 to now. So Let's give Drew Brees another chance when it comes to being a color analyst. A-Town says he bets Evangeline Securities can fix it. What I hope Evangeline Securities can do for me is that I build up this pod with y'all's help, and one day Evangeline Securities really does want to help me sell my business. Anyway, Larry Gibson is here. Good morning. He lives in Raleigh. If the Saints beat Carolina, he's giving these people the blues all week. I bet you are. That'll be a lot of fun. All right. Again, before we get to the Saints and LSU and all that, I do want to talk a little bit about the Pelicans. It's a streak, y'all. Zach Ewing coming in about 3 minutes, so that's about how much time we're going to dedicate to the Pels. We talked about, if you weren't here, Jordan Poole is out 7 to 10 days. The Pels are they better without him and Zion? I don't really think they're better. I mean, I joke about that kind of stuff, but they're not better. Oh, by the way, we'll get into this. Did the governor pick LSU's coach yet? Don't get me started on that. The whole Verge Osbury thing, I can't wait to get into that with Zach. He was the interim athletic director, then he was the acting athletic director, then he wasn't the real athletic director, and now he's the athletic director. I think some people got egg on their face, and it's really not going to help them find a coach. That's a whole different story. All right, the Pelicans, 101-99 winners over the Dallas Mavericks. Did you watch the game on Wednesday night? It was a lot of fun. It was a whole lot of fun. It is a streak. 2 more road games before the Pels finally get to come back home and have a little home stand. And, man, look, it's tough. We talked about how tough the schedule is, but they found a way to win at a tough place to win. I got to be honest. Watching that game, the Pels had a pretty sizable lead in the first half. They let it slip away. They were only leading by, I think, 3 at the half. The Mavs then came out in the second half, took the lead, had a good game plan. And I did not think that the Pelicans were going to be able to find a way to win that game. But they did. They did find a way to win the game, and you got to give them credit. Look, I think that Derek Queen it's only 8 games, but the progress he's shown from game 1 to game 8, game 7, game 8, really, he's been fantastic. So can he continue his improvement? That's what I'm going to be looking forward to. I think Jeremiah Fears has been good. I hope he gets better. Trey Murphy has been not good. So let's hope that this team as a whole can get better, because really, I think, look, how they do over the course of the next week to 2 weeks is going to tell us a lot on whether Willie Green is going to be able to stay with this team. I mean, he is on. I can tell you, I don't think Joe Dumars is going to be all that patient. That's just my opinion. I'm not saying that I think Willie Green should go, because y'all know how I feel about that. If you've watched, I am a Willie Green fan, and I'm not ready to go there, because I still think there's hope for this coach. I know I'm in the minority, but let's see what he can do, and can he bring this team back? We're gonna learn a lot as the Pels finish a road stand at San Antonio, at Phoenix, and then next Wednesday they come home and they play the Portland Trailblazers. Saddiq Bey has been outstanding, Charles. He really has. When Smoke says the trade value for Zion is down, I think you'd be surprised. Now, y'all know that I talk about it all the time, that I think that fans' ideas in general of trade values are probably a little off. But I think Zion, I think they can get a decent amount for Zion. Not having to do with the Pelicans, Barry Ulay says he wants to rant. Mike Hoss is not a play-by-play radio guy. It's hard listening. Mike's been on the show a couple of times. I don't know. I think Mike has improved as well. I'm telling you, that's a tough gig, man. And there are only so many of those, and there's just so many of those. It's a tough gig. I think Mike does a good job. And Mike's been on this show a couple times. And, as someone, again, who's done it for 11 years, that's a tough gig, calling play-by-play. Owen Attilio says we're about to move on. I look forward to seeing Tyler Shough this week. Any nerves should be over. Just worry about the O-line. I hope the coaches have a good game plan. They have not coached They have not been very well coached. Yeah, I agree with that. And lastly, as we move on from the last Pels comment, at least for now, Charles says Willie's rotations have been better. I think they've been a lot better. And you wonder, is that because of, have they been better because Zion's been out and they've been easier to make. I don't know. One could argue. Anyway, something we may talk about later. We'll see. But I bring in Zach Ewing, NOLA.com, and Times Picayune Advocate, assistant sports editor of the Saints. You can check them all out at NOLA.com/Saints. Zach, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I am it's Friday, and I can't believe it's Friday already. This week has flown by. It's been crazy. And I asked a question. I know you weren't here for my open, but I asked a question. Have the Saints and LSU Tigers, have they hit rock bottom in their respective programs, franchises? Do they begin? And they don't necessarily, hello, JC, they don't necessarily need to work their way to win. I don't think necessarily need to win. I mean, of course, you want them to win. We'll get to our picks in a minute. But can they start to at least get better? Will LSU be inspired? And will the Saints have a better week this week?
It's a hard question to answer. I mean, there are going to be more losses, certainly for the Saints. We know that. There's going to be quite a few. Now, to your point, if they're playing better, if they're more competitive, is it okay that they go 2-6, 3-5 down the stretch? I think so. I don't think people care too much about that. As for LSU, this is just going to be a chaotic month. I mean, yeah. I don't know. I have no idea what we're going to get. Other than I assume they will beat Western Kentucky. It feels like they could just roll out the ball and beat Western Kentucky, to borrow a basketball term. But the other three games, I don't know what you're going to get. I think, just as a small spoiler for my pick, that you will see kind of a rejuvenated effort from them Saturday in Tuscaloosa. Whether that means they're actually competitive against a top 5 team, I don't know.
Well, we are going to find out. And my question, for those who can't see the headline and listen to the podcast after the fact, the headline reads, will the Tigers play inspired? And with Brian Kelly gone first game, I think we're going to find out a little bit about, I was talking with Gabe. There was one player that basically came to Brian Kelly's defense. Other than that, it's been a whole lot of crickets. So I think with Brian Kelly gone, I really believe that this team's going to come out. I'm not necessarily ready to say they're going to win the football game, but I think they're going to come out and play some of their best football of the year.
I think so. I mean, if you just look at the talent level of the teams, LSU's not that far below Alabama. They both got key transfers and 5-star recruits at just about every position. I mean, just from a purely talent perspective, it should be a competitive game. Now, obviously, the coaching upheaval plays into a role, but I actually feel better about this game than I would if Brian Kelly were still the coach.
Yeah, I absolutely do. And I think for all of them, and look, as banged up as the offensive line is, look, it's not a great matchup for LSU. Let's be realistic. They are playing a really good Alabama team that some think can win the national championship. I don't personally think they're that good, but I think they're really good, obviously. And LSU has so many issues on the offensive line. So it's not a great situation for Garrett Nussmeier, who has just been getting destroyed. But I just think I have this, maybe call it a hunch, call it whatever you want. I think Garrett Nussmeier is going to play his best game of the year.
I don't know. It's hard, right? Because Frank Wilson said just right off the bat, one of the things he wanted to do was run the ball more. He was the running backs coach. The new offensive coordinator was the run game coordinator. I think they're really, and by the way, if you look at statistics, Alabama is clearly better at defending the pass than they are the run. Mm-hmm. Now in college, some of that we say this every time, but like sacks count as rushing yards. And so does that kind of skews it. But just statistically, the path to LSU staying in this game and having a chance at an upset is to run the ball. And by the way, the great irony of the Brian Kelly era, where everybody said the whole time, like, you fix this and you can't fix this, and it's like a game of whack-a-mole where he fixes that and then some other problem pops up. Well, what everyone's been saying for more than a year now is, where's the running game? How come LSU can't run the ball? Of all schools, LSU ought to be able to run the ball. They actually ran the ball really well the last 3 weeks. When the game script called for an opportunity to run it. So it did seem like they had fixed that problem. And then the one last great game of whack-a-mole was that everything else fell apart and the defense fell apart. And so I think LSU is going to go out and run the ball. Could that lead to a big game for Nussmeier? Sure, it could. I don't see why not. He's talented enough to do it. But I do think if LSU is going to win, they're going to need a big game from Harlem Berry and or Caden Durham.
Whack-a-mole's fun. I mean, I miss playing whack-a-mole.
Whack-a-mole was a fun game.
I mean, don't lie though. When you do go to Chuck E. Cheese or whatever with the kids and you bring, you still play every now and then, don't you?
Oh, absolutely! I love all those carnival games, man. You can get me on an air hockey table. The only difference is now the next day your arm right here gets real sore from reaching out with the air hockey. But I'm a mean air hockey player. Foosball too.
You get air hockey shoulder. You can get tennis elbow and air hockey shoulder.
Yeah,
I guess.
Exactly. That's how you know. I pulled a neck muscle this morning doing my morning workout. That's how you know I'm old.
Wait until you get into your 50s, pal. It doesn't get any better. All right, let's make our picks for the LSU Tigers and kind of tacking on to what we have. We're gonna let Zach go first, as we always do. Zach thinks the Tigers are gonna fall, but they're gonna be in the game and fall by 3. What you got, Zach?
I think it is a competitive game. I don't know that this is like something that comes down to the final minute, but maybe similar to LSU's previous 2 road losses to Ole Miss and to Vanderbilt, where they're kind of in the game and it's not over until the end, but ultimately Alabama's able to run the clock out. I also think back to that game Ed Ogeron played, coached in Tuscaloosa right after it was announced he would not be returning. They came out with tremendous effort. LSU was like a 20-point underdog in that game and brought it down pretty close to the final 5 minutes. I think LSU shows something like you're saying. I think we're in agreement here, but just ultimately it's hard to see Alabama letting themselves lose this game. They've won a lot of close games against good teams this year, and I think they do that again.
Yeah. Look, I'm just not going to waste any time. This is going to be one of the upsets of the year. Ooh. I'm picking LSU to win. I just think that, again, I've been wrong before, and maybe I'm wrong again. I'm going out on a limb. I just think LSU is going to play inspired football, and I think, look, we see upsets all the time. First of all, I just don't think Alabama's as good as everybody thinks they are. I just don't. And we've seen Kalen DeBoer and his teams kind of falter against, mid to good teams. Again, this is a bad time. Ryan O'Shea says LSU 20, Bama 17, so he's kind of with me. And you and I have similar scores, even though we picked the opposite team to win. But I think again, I hear what you're saying about Holland Berry, and I do think they will try to run the ball. I think the defense gets back to playing solid defense, and I think that Nussmeier has a great game, and I think LSU finds a way to win. I think they trail for most of the second half and kick a field goal late to win it 26-24.
You know what's crazy is what would that do to the coaching search? Well, I mean, would Frank Wilson be a viable candidate if he beats Alabama and then beats Arkansas and obviously beats Western Kentucky? And you're going into that final weekend in Norman, the Tigers' second toughest game that's remaining. And are we talking about Frank Wilson as like, has he done enough to earn this job? Or is that just not going to happen no matter what?
I'm glad you bring that up because I forgot to bring the coaching search part of it up. I'm going to go back to the regular side here because Zach, the way this is playing out so far, they might not have a choice because who's going to want to come here? I still think it's going to be John Summerall in the end. That is, but who's going to want to come here? What are they going to be left with? If you're left with somebody who's, a James Franklin type who's obviously already failed at Penn State and is similar to Brian Kelly with what he's been successful with, you kind of get in there, and Kelly hasn't been able to do that, but. Or do you just stick with what you have and what you know? So I don't think they're going to do that, but I don't think it's 0.0 anymore.
No, I mean, it's not 0.0, but it's not far off from that. I do think there are coaches out there who would look at the allure of an LSU job and be willing to look past some of the chaos that's happened. Yeah. And I think there's also candidates who probably are saying thanks, but no thanks. I would have been on the fence anyway. And now after watching what's happened with the governor and the university president and all this stuff, like I'm just out. So I think that LSU has unfortunately shrunk its candidate pool, but that doesn't mean there aren't still coaches out there who are going to be interested in the job.
No, they're still going to be interested, but
maybe
not the big names.
Yeah, or who would even take the job, who are good coaches. Like I'm a Missouri grad, so let's take Eli Drinkwitz. Okay. Eli Drinkwitz is in a good spot at an SEC school where he has won enough to be comfortable at that school. Now, what I don't know is how is Eli Drinkwitz wired? Okay. He has not won huge games at Missouri. Maybe he feels like I need the advantages and the resources that LSU provides in order to win those games, and I'm going to go get it done. And I'm confident enough that with those resources, I can do it, even with some, some interference from the governor's mansion and the university president's office and whatever. I'm fine. I'm going to go win there because I've won here, and it's just going to be better. I think there's a possibility that a guy like that does think that that's the case and that he is intrigued enough by the LSU job. Now, I don't know. I don't know Eli Drinkwitz personally. Maybe why would I do that when I can win 9 games at Missouri every year and they'll build me a statue? Or if I do that, they'll probably fire me. I don't know.
Well, we kind of talk about that the same thing with Lane Kiffin. It's like, I don't know that he necessarily wants to leave Ole Miss because there is much less pressure at Ole Miss. You can have, if you have this kind of season that he's having this year and they make the playoff, and even like, let's say they win 1 game in the playoff. I mean, you're a god at Ole Miss if you do that once every 3 years or whatever. You do that once every 3 years at LSU and you're fired. So, and I think the same goes for Eli Drinkwitz. If Missouri makes the playoffs, which they have a legitimate chance to do, so I'm not saying they're going to, but the fact that they're in it right now is something that Missouri fans are not used to. So, I don't know. To me, it's just so much different at LSU, and I think you're just going to have a tough time getting an average Joe to leave his home. So,
yeah, you need the right type of person.
Yeah.
Like Missouri would have been in the playoff 2 years ago had it been 12 teams. They finished, I think, number 8 or number 9 in the country. They would have been in it. And again, if you do that at a place like Missouri or Ole Miss with Lane Kiffin, or
once every 3 years, once every 4 years,
Georgia Tech with Brent Key, like if you do that every 5 years at those schools, at the end of your career, they will build you a statue.
You win 8 games every year, at minimum of 8 games every year, and you're in the playoffs once every 3 to 4 years. You're golden at those places. You can't do that.
That's not going to be the case here.
No,
and
not.
Combine that. Sort of some of the lack of alignment is the buzzword that you have at LSU. You are going to have a lot of people say thanks, but no thanks. I do think that there will be enough people who will look past all that to where you're going to end up with a pretty good coach. And I don't, and that means, to me, that means you don't hire Frank Wilson. Frank Wilson has failed as a head coach.
I don't think he's going to get it.
So I
don't even know if he wants the job, but again, I'm at to the point now though, with all the craziness and wacky stuff. Don't get me started with the governor's crap again. It's not 0.0 anymore, because they might come to a point where if they have a great finish to the season, maybe things change. Who knows? Hakeem says that Durham, Berry, and Green have to have big games and Nuss can't turn it over. Absolutely. I mean, that's going to be key. One Smoke says, do I think Bama is overlooking LSU? Absolutely not. Alabama is never going to overlook LSU. That's just not going to happen. Antoinette saw me on Final Bet. Final Bet is really reaching. They have Zach Ewing on 1 week, and the next week they have me on. It is not going well for things at Fox 8 if they were asking Zach and I to come on in back-to-back weeks.
I think I picked LSU to beat Texas A&M on that show too, so they may not ask me back for a while.
Wow. Okay. Chad says, why would anybody want to come to a team where if you win 10 games, they want you fired, is this question.
Because these guys have a screw loose. Some of them do. And they think they're going to be the one who screw 10 games. I'm going to go undefeated every year at LSU. Right. I don't know. I mean, I think Kalen DeBoer probably has asked himself that question over the past couple of years at Alabama, where why did I leave Washington for a place where I'm supposed to be fired every time I lose a single game?
Yeah, exactly.
And I don't think LSU's quite at that level, but it's getting there.
It is.
Brian
LSU
Kelly,
fan, look,
14 at LSU. You do that at 90% of the schools out there, and you're going to have a very long, comfortable career.
LSU fans, and I've said it before, and I'm sorry if I piss people off. I really don't care. LSU have the most delusional fans on planet Earth. It's really not close. And lastly, again, as we move on, I'll show the picks one more time for those who didn't see it. Zach picks Alabama to win 26-23. I pick LSU to win 26-24. Whoever wins the game, Zach and I both think it's going to be a competitive game, and that LSU will play inspired football to answer the question that we put on the screen. All right, time to move on to the Tulane Greenway. We're not going to spend a whole lot of time because Tulane has not been fantastic, but I asked the question. Zach, is the Tulane slide on your screen that you see?
Yes.
Okay, it's not on mine. I'm having this delay thing. It's so weird that it does this. Anyway, the question that I'm going to ask is the Summerall talk, has that been a distraction at all, do you think?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I mean, it's hard to say without being in that locker room or whatever. I just don't think they played very well at UTSA. I know Gabe has mentioned it before that UTSA is like super good at home, and I think Tulane fell into a little bit of a trap. And maybe they're just, I don't know. There's something missing. Like I think
Definitely something missing.
Teams figured out Retzloff to a certain extent. Found out that if they can keep him in the pocket, he's not nearly as effective. And so I don't know that it has anything to do with the Summerall rumors as much as just maybe the team's not quite as good as we thought.
Yeah, but something's weird about this line, and it's been moving towards Tulane all week long. I forgot to fix this line. I think, Gabe, can you look it up for me? That's not. I think this is the end. I think that this is not updated, and I forgot to update it. So I think it's a little closer now. I want to say it's like 3.5. But what do you think about the bettors liking Tulane this week? Because they didn't like him before.
I don't know. It's one of those weird things where there's these betting syndicates, and they have customers, and they'll release, oh hey, I like Tulane plus 5.5, and then all of the people who subscribe to that service will go bet it, and that moves the line because it's just so much money coming in, and it's a respected group. So I don't know if that happened, and if there's something specific to this matchup. I suppose the other thing would be, we're talking about coaching rumors. Ryan Silverfield to Arkansas, like the big thing this morning.
Yeah.
So how does that affect Memphis? I mean, I think that's more fair to ask that question of Memphis than it is of Tulane.
Tulane is now just a 3.5 point underdog as of this morning. I'm sorry, I forgot to update that. The over/under still 53.5, as Gabe says, minus 110 both ways. So the fact, again, the move from 4.5 to 3.5 isn't that big of a deal. A move to 3.5 to 2.5 would be a huge deal, but 4.5 to 3.5, not that big of a deal. But the fact that it's been moving, I think it started out, I want to say Memphis was a 6-point favorite to start the week, or 5.5 points, somewhere around there. So it's been moving towards Tulane.
Yeah, I mean that move past 4 is a big deal. I don't know. I think it'll be a close game, as we're about to find out.
All right, with that, we're going to move on to our picks, and our first pick is Zach, and he's picking the Green Wave to upset the Memphis Tigers. I have no idea what you see in the way that leads you to believe. Besides the fact that the line's been moving, you picked the Wave to win.
I don't know what it was either. I thought I was being the homer by taking LSU to pick close, and I thought I'll just go full for our local teams here and take Tulane. I don't know. I guess the best way that I could put this is, with the chaos of this college football season, it just seems like it would be fitting for Tulane to follow up its worst performance of the season, maybe with its best. They haven't played well in a few weeks now, and so maybe they've got it together. Maybe there was a little bit of a look-ahead factor for this game, and that's why they performed poorly last week. And I just, Memphis defense is nothing to write home about. They lost to UAB. They're in a lot of shootouts. I could see Tulane going up there and putting up points.
Yeah, I suppose. Chris Roth wants to know, why do I think Summerall can handle LSU? He's more suited to second tier of the SC like Auburn and Arkansas. I completely disagree. I think LSU's in a great position to take a gamble. I mean, it hasn't worked by hiring the big name coach. I mean, you wanted Brian Kelly. Brian Kelly comes in and he stinks, and you want somebody. Well, who do you want? Nick Saban's gone and he's never coming back. So I think John Summerall is a great up-and-coming coach, and what he's done with Tulane, have they played not great the last few weeks? Yeah, but they don't have personnel. What he's done with this personnel, to me, is incredible. So I think that is being completely overlooked here. I think, and I said this from the get-go, what he did at Troy and then what he did going forward, I think John Summerall is a great coach, and like Jeff Duncan said, if you don't hire John Summerall, you're going to be playing against him, and that's not going to be a good thing. You can't say later on, oh, we should have hired John. I'm sick of people saying we should have done this, we should have done that. As far as as someone who went to LSU, I'm sitting here today saying I think that is the best hire that they can make, unless they can talk Joe Brady into coming out of the NFL and going to college, and I don't think that's going to happen. But I don't want Lane Kiffin, and I don't want some other has-been big name. I think he's the best name for LSU.
What about, and I don't know that it's likely they get these guys, but a Brent Key or a Jeff Brom?
Maybe. I'm not a big Jeff Brom fan. Maybe he's a little too old for me. I want someone that's under the age of 50. I think Brom's like 55, and I'm 57, so I'm saying 55 is old. But I think this program needs youth and invigoration into it. I think it needs a jolt of something, and so I have nothing against a Key or a Drinkowitz or whatever. In fact, I really like Drinkowitz. I like what he's done with Missouri. Let's see what happens, but I think it needs an injection, and I think John Summerall could do that. And one thing that I really like about Summerall, he's already shown that he can get the Louisiana players to stay in Louisiana. I think he's done a great job with the recruiting, and he's done a pretty good job in the portal as well. I think he understands all those things. Another reason why a young coach. So I just think you get him now. You have nothing to lose. You don't have to pay him as much, and I think he comes in here and he's here for a long time.
I actually agree. I see your comment there from Chris saying Kenny Dillingham is worth a look. That's another guy like Brent Key and like Jeff Brom who is coaching, and like Clark Lee at Vanderbilt. He is coaching at his alma mater. So there's that extra sort of emotional pull for him to stay where he is. And not all of those guys are going to be like, no, I'm coaching at my alma mater for the rest of my life, but some of them will. And no, Brent Key said, if you slice me open, look what colors I bleed, or something, which is like, just so overly dramatic, but you got to love it.
Yeah, I'm not even going on with that. All right, I guess it's time for my Tulane pick. We got one other one. Charles says Tulane 24, Memphis 21. Look, I haven't seen anything, and I'm talking about how great Summerall is, and I haven't seen anything from Tulane the past few weeks, and I've been kind of backing them. You know, Gabe picked UTSA last week, and I didn't like the pick, and look, I'm just, until they prove me wrong and that they're really got it together, I just don't see them winning this football game. And I think they're going to lose handily. 36-26. If they lost by, what did they lose by, 18 or whatever it was last week, then maybe more than that. I don't remember exact, 48-26 or something along those lines, whatever it was. I think they lose by 10 or more. I think they lose by double digits. Memphis, look, they've got a shot to go to the college football playoffs. And as of right now, they're actually the 12 seed. I think they're going to play well in this game, and I just don't see anything from Tulane that's going to make me believe they can win this football game. Prove me wrong, Wade, please.
No, I mean that's the sensible pick, that Memphis is just better than Tulane this year, and they've shown that in like 8 of their 9 games so far. So that does make a lot of sense.
Lastly, I'm going to show this comment before we move on. By the way, Ryan Ashe, no shot on Summerall over Kiffin if you had a choice. Well, you don't get a choice. Neither do I.
I would take Kiffin. I know you don't like Kiffin, Jim.
I wouldn't.
The complicating thing with Kiffin is that Ole Miss is going to be in the playoff. And right now it looks like they're going to be favored to at least make the quarterfinals of the playoff, which means they're playing on New Year's, and the transfer portal opens on January 2nd or 3rd.
Yeah.
That is –
I hear you.
It doesn't mean you shouldn't hire that. If you're convinced Lane Kiffin's the right guy, or this goes for Brent Key or Jeff Brom or anybody else who might be in the playoff. If you're convinced they're the right guy, you shouldn't let the short-term problem of how he's going to navigate the transfer portal stop you. But it is a complication.
One Smoke wants to know what Summerall has won. He's won 2 more conference championships than Lane Kiffin has ever won. Lane Kiffin has never won anything in his GD life. I don't understand the fascination with Lane. He's fun. He likes to go for it on 4th down. Whoop-de frickin' do. What is the fascination with Lane?
Can I push back real quick?
Please. I want
won
you to.
2 conference championships at FAU. He won Conference USA twice.
Okay. Sorry, I forgot about it. You're right. You're 100% right.
I just want to set the record.
I'm glad you did. I'm glad you corrected me. You know, I always want to be corrected if there is if I say something that's wrong. But the point is, they've never won anything. What has Summerall won? He's won the same thing that Lane Kiffin's won. Lane Kiffin hasn't won anything in the SEC. He didn't win anything in the Pac-12. He didn't win anything in the NFL. Big deal. Plays in a conference.
Kiffin has won. Also, he's won 3 national championships as an offensive coordinator.
Right. I'm not saying he's not a good offensive coordinator. I actually think he is a good offensive coordinator. Saban loves him. At least loved the professional side of Kiffin. I don't know that Saban and he saw eye to eye with other things, but anyway, let's move on. I want to move on to the Saints. The point is, we're talking. I think it doesn't matter what any of us think anyway. We're going to see what happens, and I just think that Lane Kiffin's out of the running anyway, because I don't think he's going to want to come to this mess. If he's going to leave Ole Miss, it's not going to be for what he probably perceives as a mess.
I agree. I think if he had it, if he does leave Oxford, it will be for Florida.
Completely agree. I don't think he wants to come here. And I don't necessarily know that LSU wants him, but I don't think he wants to come here. All right, moving on to the Saints. And I asked the question, a good spot for the Saints. You see, I got the white bug down there with the gold fleur-de-lis. That is because the Saints are wearing their color rush jerseys with their white helmets this week. In case you didn't know that, now you know here on the Dattitude podcast. But Saints 5.5-point underdogs at the Carolina Panthers. I guess there's no such thing, and maybe it's a reach with this headline, a good spot for Saints, ? Maybe there's no real good spot for the Saints, but it's certainly a better spot than last week.
Oh, no doubt. I mean, we said this a week ago that playing the Rams was as rough of a landing spot for Tyler Shough as you could imagine. That pass rush, the fact that the offense was going to put you under pressure, and that's exactly what played out. And I actually thought, and Jim, I have a question for you.
Sure.
Did you see anything from Tyler Shough last week that you would consider a red flag going forward?
No.
Did you?
I don't know that I did.
Did you see anything from Tyler Shough that makes you think, oh man, we might have something here going forward?
Yes.
I agree with both of those answers. I think,
and I gotta be honest, I'm surprised because we both know that Tyler Shough is kind of known for, and I'm not saying, look, he's played 6 halves basically or whatever it is. So let's not get too excited, but he's known for making just the stupidest of stupid mistakes at times. I haven't seen that yet. And against the Rams, there's always a lot of chances to do that as much as he was pressured. And I really like the way he threw on the move. And I liked his decision making.
Yeah, I'm not making any conclusions because it is just 6 quarters. And quite frankly, it shouldn't even count as that because the Saints ran only 40 plays in that game. Like, he just didn't get a chance to show us much. But from what I saw, I didn't see anything where I'm going, they're going to have to work on that, which I did with Spencer Rattler. And I'm trying not to make this a Spencer versus Tyler thing. But last year when Rattler was playing, there were several things where you're just like, okay, the accuracy, I don't know about that. He fumbles a lot. He's holding on to the ball. I didn't see any of that. And maybe we will going forward. But I thought he looked comfortable out there. I thought he looked decisive. And then on the flip side of that, he made a couple of throws where you're like, whoa, that was different. Saints haven't seen that in a while. Saints haven't seen that since Drew Brees was like in his prime. I'd take that back. Derek Carr could make some throws. But like there were a couple throws where you're like, okay, there may be something here. Whether that ultimately gets unlocked or not, I don't know. But I am looking forward to seeing how he performs against a more kind of middle of the pack to bottom defense in Carolina.
At Stephen A. Smith, 6837, as opposed to the real Stephen A. Smith. The only thing Shough is going to help the Saints with is to get in position to draft quarterback Fernando Mendoza as the first pick.
Got to say that.
I wonder if he likes Spencer Rattler or not. I'm just wondering.
And maybe that's right? Like, but that's what we've been saying is if Tyler Shough is going to bomb out and lose 7 of 8 games or something, and the Saints end up with the number 1 pick, fine. That's fine. That gives you an answer, right? Like you and I have talked about this. The worst case is he's just sort of, he's okay. And the Saints win 3 games and you're going, maybe he's the guy. Actually, the worst case would be Shough gets hurt. That's the worst because then you're not getting an answer at all. But if you get sort of this half answer and you're like, well, are we ever going to have a
half
top
answers suck?
Yeah. I mean, should we roll with him another year? Should we draft somebody? What do we do here? And you're in limbo for another year. That's
my guess is if he's they're not going to draft a quarterback with the top 5 pick. They're going to let go, which is really sucks. But Infantryman says, happy Friday, Dattitude. Let's hope that Shough shows he can be the guy, and he says unlikely, would definitely help move the rebuild along quicker. I guess so. It would definitely help move the rebuild quicker, I guess, but I mean, do we know that? I don't know.
No, I mean, the biggest part of the rebuild is finding your quarterback by far. By far, the biggest part of this is finding your quarterback. If Shough proves he's the guy, then yes, your rebuild has been accelerated.
Bill says that he will improve every week. Go Shough. Brian Cabot says the Rams GM, What am I missing there? Shough handled it well enough. Saw a couple of nice things and have a glimmer of hope.
The Rams
Prince
game, I think.
Oh, okay, sorry. Prince, sorry, I can't pronounce that. Prince says, pump the brakes a bit on the Shough praise. I don't think we're necessarily, we're not really.
Your Persian history, Xerxes. Sorry.
Sorry, I should know that, I guess, but I don't. I'm sorry. I don't know that we're necessarily praising Shough. You asked the question, did we see anything that gives sort of a glimmer of hope for the future? And I think that I saw enough this past Sunday that intrigues me. And I've been screaming, look, if you're new here and you don't know me and you haven't heard me say, I don't think the future of the Saints quarterback is on this roster. I really don't. However, what I've been saying and will stick with is I know Spencer Rattler is not the future of quarterback. Sorry if you don't like it. It's just the truth. We've seen enough. I don't want to hear. No longer can anyone say, "Oh, he only played 6 games and he played with a crappy O-line and blah blah." You can't say that anymore. It's 1-13. He stunk. Okay, and the only game he won, they had to get 5 turnovers in the game for him to win. Okay, so I know that he's not the future. I don't think Tyler Shough's the future, but I certainly am intrigued enough to watch the last 8 games to find out. That's not Shough praise. I just want to find out.
Yeah, I exactly. He might be, and if that's the case, then I think that's good for Saints fans. That's certainly what you want. Again, it's the biggest piece in any rebuild is to find the quarterback. If he's the guy, even Saints fans who love Spencer Rattler have to be excited about that, because guess what? That means you've got your starter of the future and you've got your backup of the future, because I think Spencer Rattler did show enough for that. And this is all hypothetical, right? Like, we're not sitting here saying this is going to happen. Tyler Shough is the guy.
Correct.
I'm not sure where I'm leaning right now as far as the draft next year, but I'm excited to find out. And that's why I say, just cross your fingers, knock on wood, whatever you got to do, keep this guy healthy for the rest of the season or most of the rest of the season, so that the Saints can get a proper evaluation of it.
JC and everyone else on JC, and I know you've been a member of the Dad family for a while. I love you. I appreciate you. And this goes for you and everyone else. And I have to make this announcement about once every week and a half to 2 weeks. We don't talk about the T word on this show, and losing on purpose does nothing but make you a loser. And if you put those comments in the comment stream, I'm not going to show them because they're stupid. If you want to lose on purpose, you got to screw loose. Okay? There we go. I got it out of the way. I feel much better. Let's move on. Gary says, sorry you're late. We are trying to have a great day. One Smoke says he doesn't like that he still panics under pressure. I don't think I saw. Are you talking about? I don't know if he's talking. Are you talking about Shough panicking under pressure? I don't think he's panicked under pressure. I didn't see a whole lot of panic under pressure. Sunday, did you?
The one thing
that's actually one of the things that I like, that he didn't show panic under pressure.
He got completely annihilated by Byron Young on that one.
Yeah.
Play.
And hung in the pot. Yeah. I
don't think he even saw him coming. So it's not like you can sit there and say, oh, what, it probably wasn't great pocket presence. But Byron Young was so clean on that play that he's sacking anybody.
Again, it's only 6 quarters, so I'm not getting excited about him.
What I will say is he said this week that hit, he needed to have like needles put in his jaw to help the swelling go down and stuff. Like he was unable to open his jaw until Wednesday or something like that. And he got up and threw a touchdown pass 2 plays later. So to me, that's, I don't know. Like, again, we're dealing with an extremely small sample size, but I thought that I did see some encouraging things.
Earlier this year, I had acupuncture done in my jaw for a problem that in my ear. It's not fun. It's not pleasant, but if I feel for him. Jimmy says, sorry, he didn't see anything but a decent backup. Again, 6 quarters. I'm not saying you're right or wrong. Brian says he doesn't see anything. He's not impressed with any of the potential 2026 quarterback class. I will say this. I am disheartened about this 2026 quarterback class. I am not nearly as impressed as I thought I would be when we were talking about this back in, June, July, and August. I didn't even know who Fernando Mendoza really was back then, and now he's maybe the best of the bunch.
It's crazy. Him or I guess Ty Simpson, speaking of Alabama.
Right now, that's the top 2 for sure.
Those would be the 3. I'm with you. I thought that we were in for one of these great quarterback classes between Nussmeier and Arch Manning, if you wanted to include him, and
Yeah.
Lenoris Sellers and DJ Lagway and Drew Aller, and between injuries and ineffectiveness, it's just been that's the other part of this is where you say if Tyler Shough is, what do? You might just punt it down the road a year because that gives you another year to figure out if Tyler is the answer. It allows you to draft a really good player in the top 5 at another position. And then maybe it's that 2027 class when Arch does come out after another year of seasoning, and you do have some of these other younger guys throughout college football. Maybe somebody really pops at that point.
I can't believe I'm saying this, but I actually agree with you. I don't know. I mean, you can't just take a quarterback, because even if you don't take one with your top 5 pick, if there's not one worth taking the top 5 pick. I think, look, I know the jury's still out, but I don't think Cam Ward is some future championship winning quarterback, and Tennessee thought they had no choice but to take Cam Ward with the number 1 pick. And I'm not saying they didn't. Maybe they didn't have a choice, but it just goes to show you when you do that with your number 1 pick, the number 1 pick of the draft, where you are. The Titans still now need playmakers. They still need help on the offensive line. I don't know. So we'll see.
And that's the other part of
it. You got to be flexible when it comes down.
Yeah, like I think Cam Ward is actually going to be a pretty good player if he doesn't fall to the fact that he's in a terrible situation.
Yeah,
And we've seen that happen in NFL history before, where a guy, maybe he would have been a good player, but he was in a bad situation, and that's where Cam Ward's at. And so I don't mind that pick. I just don't know that the Titans roster was ready for it yet.
Yeah.
And that's the other part of this is the Saints roster ready to go have a top 5 quarterback and not waste those 4 years of team control you get.
Lots of things we'll be talking about in February, March, and April for sure. Gary says we need to rebuild the offensive line. Well, I mean, they've been doing that for a while now. They still need to rebuild it. I think they're fine at tackles, but you're not going to take a guard or a center. I mean, and Eric McCoy is coming back, but you're starting to worry about it. He's going to get hurt, but you're not going to go take a guard with a top 5 pick. You shouldn't. So maybe they trade back, but that's not in the Saints' DNA.
Right. It's not, and we'll see. I mean, sometimes you get an offer you can't refuse, and I think even this stubborn Saints front office and Mickey Loomis is starting to realize just how many holes they have. And if you have a top 3 pick and somebody comes in and offers you a couple of first rounders and a second rounder to move up just 5 spots or something, I think you'd have to be interested in that. But like you say, that's discussion for the springtime.
Trying to catch up. Owen Attilio says he saw maturity and confidence. However, just 16 minutes was not enough to form a solid opinion. Owen, it was 16 minutes and 7 seconds, pal. Get it right. Ovide says saw more yak yards in a long time. Bill says offensive line free agents are in draft. We're going to get to that, I think, in the offseason. I don't think we can talk about that right now. Mitch Bergeron, Shough put up Rattler numbers in 16 minutes. It's hard not to view that as a positive. There's that. Chris says consider what he has around him. Maybe if he can elevate them a little, might show he can do with better talent what Rattler couldn't do. Absolutely a possibility. Let's see. Gabe thinks this is the dumbass comment of the day, so I'll show it. I don't think it's that bad, Gabe. Paul Laporte, Shough is better than Daniel Jones. He is not. He's not better than Daniel Jones, but it's not that absurd. All he needs is better players surrounding him. Well, I will say this: Daniel Jones definitely has better players surrounding him, but Shough's not as good.
I think Daniel Jones is actually a reasonable comp for what Shough could become. I don't think he's there yet, but I do think they're similar type players in some ways.
Yeah. Apathy says the Saints will beat the Jets, and that will cause Aaron Glenn to get fired. That will be amusing. It kind of would be funny, wouldn't it? Maybe a little bit. All right, we're getting close to prediction time, but we got to get to. We haven't even talked about the Panthers yet. Brian Cabot says Panthers 27, Saints 24, Tigers 27, Bama 23, and he thinks Tulane's going to lose to Memphis by 7. Let's see. Blah, 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 blah. I'm trying to make sure I don't miss anybody who's had a chance to speak here because we do want to move on. All right. Let's talk about the rankings. I do like to show this slide. And as we get to the Saints versus Panthers, and again, Saints 5.5-point underdogs. Last week, they were about a 2-touchdown dog. So, look, you and I have disagreed on how good we think the Panthers are or aren't. I think they're about an average team, which is much better than a lot of people give them credit for. You don't think they're that good. We'll see this week, maybe. Or won't we? Or
I think
maybe the Packers in Green Bay.
A very, very inconsistent team. Beat the
That's
Packers
true.
in Green Bay. Just took the Falcons to the woodshed, 30-0,
and got annihilated by the Bills.
And got annihilated by the Bills. Got annihilated by the Patriots. Those are good teams. Had to scrap and claw and fight to beat the aforementioned Jets. I actually think the Jets probably deserve to win that game. The Panthers won really ugly. They won really ugly against the Miami Dolphins in a game where they had to come back. Probably didn't deserve to win that game. I mean, they are better than they have been the last 2 years. You can say that for sure. Are they to the point where they're actually ready to contend for a playoff spot? I don't think so, despite the 5-4 record.
Yeah. I hear you. I mean, again, we don't agree on how. I think the Panthers are probably going to be in. Their schedule is kind of tough going forward. I still think they're an 8 to 9 win kind of team, and I think they're laying the foundation. I think they're going to be even better.
I mean, they should win 8. They got 5, and they played the Saints twice. They should get to 8.
I did not know this. Ted McMillan just got added to the injury report with a hamstring flare up. Thank you for the news, because I need to get him out of my fantasy lineup if that's the case. All right. The thing that sticks out to me here is, and we talk about the rankings each week. For those who can't hear it, I'll try to talk about them as much as I can. But the Carolina rushing offense, and it's been mostly of this resurgence of Rico Dowdle, has come out of nowhere. It came out of Gabe's mouth and into reality. Fifth, the Panthers had the 5th best rushing offense in the NFL. The Saints had the 24th best rushing defense in the NFL. If the Saints are going to win this game, they're going to have to stop Rico Dowdle and Shough Hubbard.
Yeah, I think so. Bryce Young has not played well against the Saints in his career outside of that last game. Obviously, that was against a different defense. But the way that you control this Panthers offense is by making Bryce Young beat you, getting him under pressure. He will make mistakes, and that's got to be the recipe. But it has to start with controlling Dowdle, who's been really, really good, and he's kind of the type of running back that worries you as a Saints fan. Is he's kind of low to the ground and built big and thick and like hard to tackle. And guess what? The Saints are not very good at is tackling.
They should be able to put pressure on Bryce Young. I think the Saints have been much better in the pressure department. Obviously, since Chase Young has started playing football again, he decided, okay, I'm not hurt anymore, and he can play. Look, I will say this. You can talk bad about Chase Young all you want, but his presence has absolutely been felt since he's been in there and healthy. And the Saints have the 14th best passing defense in the NFL, going up against the 3rd worst passing offense in the NFL.
Yeah, right. I mean, it's I don't know. It's going to be ugly on ugly.
It will. Okay. I've got an interesting, before we start getting into predictions, because we're running long, so I want to get to that. We have an interesting, Chris Ross says, a 3-teamer, LSU, Tulane, and Saints moneyline parlay. Gabe Henderson just looked this up for me at DraftKings. Do you have any idea? I don't know. Did you look at the private chat? So would you be cheating?
I did not.
Okay, so don't look at it. What would you guess it would pay? So what would you guess a $10? We're going to place a $10 bet on LSU and Tulane Saints.
Like in the plus 400 range. The Saints are in the plus 220 range.
It's not fair because you and I have both done this.
And then Tulane's got to be around plus 220 as well. Maybe a little less than that. Parlays are so hard to calculate sometimes. It's got to be 25 to 1.
All right. So if you put $10 down
7 to 1, something like
on DraftKings for LSU, Tulane, and the Saints all to win, and they all win, $10 bet, you would win $299.50.
All right. 20, so almost 30 to 1.
You were pretty close. Uncle Big Nick says he may bet it, but of course he doesn't bet $10 on anything. If he only had $100 left to his name, he would still bet $100 on whatever he was betting on, because that's the only thing he knows. All right. Oh yeah. And Chris says, and get the profit boost. That's true.
There you go.
All right. Time to move on to our picks. I will show this just because I made the slide. I did not do. I know how much you hate the series, so I didn't even make that this week. But we do see real quick, Zach, that it gets after this week. Obviously, a bye coming up for the Saints, and no Friday show next week. We won't be talking next Friday. But after that, a home against Atlanta, on the road Miami and Tampa Bay, home Carolina and the Jets, at Tennessee, at Atlanta. They got some winnable games. I want to put you on a record right now. What is the Saints' final record?
4-13.
Okay. What did you say to start the year?
I said 5-12 to start the year. So I've gone down a game. But I do think, like, again, you look at that schedule, my gosh, can they not find a way to win 3 more games? You got the Jets, you got the Titans, you got the Panthers twice, you got the Dolphins, you got the Falcons twice who don't look good. There's not a single difficult game on that schedule outside of Week 14 at Tampa Bay, in my opinion.
UBN is just messed up. He says there's more red than an Italian restaurant menu in it. That's just really messed up. Look, I am with you in the fact that I am 1 game lower than I was to start the season. They pretty much are who we thought they were. I said 4-13 to start the season. I'm changing to 3-14, and it's not nearly good enough to be the number 1 pick in the NFL. I think they're going to get the 3rd pick.
3-14, I think, would be close.
Jets are going to get the 1st pick. I think
Jets are going to.
I think the Titans. I think the Saints and Titans will both finish 3-14. The Saints will beat the Titans in Nashville, which will hose them out of that pick and make some tanking fans really ticked off. And I will laugh at the tanking fans. So, by the way, UBN wants to know: are you at an Italian restaurant?
I'm hungry right now, so I wish I was, but our Saints Insider studio has these lovely red walls.
All right. It is time now for our picks of the week. If you want to get your prediction in, now is the time. Zach predicts, you want to talk about homery. The New Orleans Saints to beat the Carolina Panthers 23-19.
Saints win. I don't have a lot of conviction in this pick, but every time I pick the Saints, I feel like a fool by Sunday morning. So we'll see. I just and you and I have argued over the Panthers. I don't think they're that good. They're okay. They're okay. They're better than the Saints, but they're not that much better than the Saints to where on any given Sunday the Saints can't go win a game. Panthers have been wildly inconsistent. Why do we think they're going to follow up a win at Green Bay just by coming home and all of a sudden being like a playoff type team and taking care of business? I think, again, I liked what I saw from Tyler Shough. I think the drama of the trade deadline is behind the Saints. They kind of know the guys in this room or who we've got in this room. And I think we see him play pretty well. I think maybe Bryce Young makes a mistake or two, and Tyler Shough gives us something to think about and gets his first career win.
We've already had plenty of predictions. I'm going to show the ones that we just got in the last minute or two here. Again, if you want to get your prediction in, now is the time. Ryan Shea says Panthers 24, Saints 13, expecting the same old team. Drive killing drops, turnovers, and penalties. Defense getting gashed by whatever the other team does well. That is promise and hope. That's what I'm talking about, Ryan. Oh, wait. No, you're not thinking about promise and hope. Okay. Sean says Tulane 24, Memphis 17, Alabama 34, LSU 20, and the Panthers 27, Saints 20. Chad Gage, if I can get my mouse to work. There it is. Panthers 24, Saints 20. We come back and beat them at home. He says we'll beat them in the dome. Bill says 24-17 Saints. Charles Manga says 21-20 Saints. Ryan says Panthers aren't good, but we are brutally bad.
Home with all these homer picks, man.
Lots of homer picks. It is time for me to make my pick, which is semi-homerish or not, whatever. I think the Saints I kind of agree with Ryan to the extent of I think they kind of do what they've been doing. I don't have a lot of hope for them to win this game. This was originally, and I made fun of Zach last night. I texted him. He talked me out. And again, it would have been only my own fault had I lost the game. But he talked me out of making the Panthers my knockout pick, and he talked me into the Broncos, and I was really getting kind of ticked off for a little while. I still think that both happen. I think the Panthers win this football game, but I will no longer say the Saints have a 0.0% chance to win. I think they have a chance to win, and I'm very interested in how this offense reacts this week.
Yeah, and I do think it's a good opportunity for Shough. The Saints go from facing one of the best pass rushes in the NFL to one of the worst. The Panthers are bottom 5 in sacks. I think they're bottom 3 in pressure rate per PFF. They don't get after the quarterback. Shough should be able to sit back there and kind of pick out some receivers. Now on the other side of the ball, again, going to have to find a way to bottle Rico Dowdle up at least to the point where the Panthers have to throw sometimes. If that happens, Saints have a chance.
JC says he thinks the Panthers win, unfortunately, this week. Brian S. Steve says Panthers 27, Saints 16. I think we're going to have another low time, a possession game, lots of Dowdle. And you know what I think? I think we're going to have a lot of prayer, Zach Ewing. I think we're going to be praying that we have actually things can get better and that we can be better than Uncle Big Nick trying to pick football games. Maybe we can. Maybe we can't.
What's this piece?
You don't like it? We're praying.
We're
in church.
Yeah. All right.
You heathen. You know, I mean, what's going on with you, man? Come on.
My church doesn't play music like that, man. It's not. I don't know.
All right. Well, I will not see you next Friday because we are taking next Friday off because it's a bye week, and it has been a tumultuous week or two, and I need a break. And so we won't be on next Friday, but I will see you 2 Fridays from now when before the Saints come back home to take on the Atlanta Falcons, and I know that'll be a lot of fun. See you I'll see you in 2 weeks.
All right. See you later.
Zach Henderson, everybody. Glad he's staying with us to help out with our Friday show. We're trying to keep it as close to the same as possible. There definitely will be changes going forward. What they are yet, don't 100% know, but this week has been a whirlwind. And I knew it was important for me, at least this week, to keep things as close to the same as absolutely possible. We had a guest on Wednesday. We did Mono Monday on Monday. We had to stream elsewhere. We did a guest on Wednesday, and we have our regular Pick'em crew here on Friday. And again, going forward, there will be some changes, but we hope not that drastic. And we hope that y'all like everything that we do. We're all about taking suggestions, by the way. And if you're interested in sponsoring the show, reach out to me, jim@jimderry.com. If you do that, we can have a chat. I can tell you to be very, very reasonable pricing and sponsoring the show. We can have some exciting announcements about the show coming up in the near future. Nothing I'm going to talk about right now, but anyway, we'll see. Sean wants to know, would I say Kellen Moore doesn't know how to use Taysom Hill? I would say, Sean, and I know we're going to differ on this. I know I'm going to differ with a lot of Saints fans. I just don't want to see that much of Taysom Hill. I just don't. He's 35 years old. He's not a part of this future, and I've said this before. I think what the last 8 games of the season is for me, I'm not saying don't use Taysom Hill. I'm just saying I don't really want to see him as a quarterback. Maybe if you're trying to get a yard or whatever on 3rd and 1 or whatever. But I want to see, to me, the last 8 games are auditions for the future. Taysom Hill is not a part of the future of this franchise. He just isn't. He makes too much money, and he's, again, 35 years old. And look, what he's done has been absolutely remarkable. He has proven me wrong. He has been fantastic coming off of the knee injury, the catastrophic knee injury. I just don't want to see Taysom Hill anymore. I mean, he just doesn't bring enough to this football team. Again, he's certainly not part of the future. Debo the God's late, but Debo came in and is ready to say Bama's about to slaughter LSU. Could be wrong. I could be right. Maybe we're all wrong, and maybe it's like mediocre right in the middle, whatever. You signed up for my newsletter, asked Kelly. I don't have a newsletter, but you gave me a great idea. I guess I should have a newsletter. So I'm not sure where you signed up for the newsletter, but I am going to do a newsletter at some point. Thanks for the idea. I absolutely need to do that. What else we got? Apathy says definitely could use an alcohol sponsor, given how this local sports season is going. Apathy, I'm on the same page with you on that. Maybe. Hey, I'm open to almost any spot. One thing is we can do whatever we want now. Just saying. One Smoke says, why was he even in? Moore was just trying stuff. I hear you. All right. You want, as Callie says, went to my website and put in your email address. I don't think there's anything on my. There shouldn't be anything. Oh, it just says launching soon. Oh, okay. That's not a newsletter. I haven't done anything with it. It just says launching soon because it is. I'll check it and see if I got any email from you after we get off. Ovide says, have a good weekend. The rookie will thrive in the line in front of him pretty much as he's been practicing with. Yeah, we'll see. All right. It is time to move on as it's time for Pick'em. We're going to pick them. We're going to pick them. And I'm sorry, but UBN has got the black and gold under him. That means he was in second place. I was awful. As they say in the headline, 0-3 fit with all the things that happened last week. It stunk. It is what it is. Gabe led the way, 2-1, 24.5 points. UBN is 2-1 with 9.5 points, and I was 0-3, count them 0-3, minus 9.5 points. If you don't know what the points are, it is it is our difference between the pick that we make and the actual result. So in other words, the Saints are 5.5 point underdogs this week. If I were to pick the Saints and the Saints lost by 4 points, I would get a plus 1.5 because that's the difference between that and plus 5.5. If I pick the Saints and the Saints lost by 7, then I would get a minus 1.5. For the season, I am 17-10 against the spread with 66.5 points, still in first place over UBN, who's 15-12 against the spread, minus 0.5 point. And Gabe is climbing up close to mediocre, y'all. 13-14 against the spread, minus 4.5. Gentlemen, what is going on this morning? UBN is trying to stay. He's trying to keep it positive, brother.
Hey, I have something not positive about last night. I don't know if y'all seen this stat, but it's the first time in a game that both teams had more penalties than points since like the 50s.
The Broncos have one offensive touchdown in their last 17 drives, by the way.
And I keep
Knicks.
using J.K. Dobbins and until this I at least finally took Cortland Sutton out my lineup, so that's a plus.
Yeah,
I hate Thursday players anyway.
We've been saying that.
He's not good. All right, let's move on to this week and our best bets of the week as we do each week. And we're going to go in order from right to left. We're going to go from the best of last week to the second best of last week to the absolute worst of last week in that order. We're going to start with Gabe. Gabe, I'll just let you read them out and start with Houston and Central Florida. You got a money line pick.
Yeah, I actually didn't know, and they didn't announce this until tonight. So I'm actually really scared for this pick now. UCF is wearing their Space U uniforms. They are 8-0. They're 8-0 in those uniforms, but Houston is the Space City.
You could say they play out of this world with those on.
Jim is tired of this, so I will move on to my actual analysis. UCF has lost 4 of its last 5 games outright. They've given up 27 or more in 3 of their last 5. Look at who their defensive coordinator is, Alex Grinch. Don't know how he still has a job anywhere in the country, much less the Power 4. But Houston is playing for its Big 12 title hopes. Willie Fritz is doing a great job with the Cougars. They've got the better quarterback. They've got the better coach. I think Houston gets it done tonight.
Houston minus 112 money line as of this morning over Central Florida. Next pick, Cleveland Browns, New York Jets.
Are you going to watch this game?
The total is a measly, ugly 37.5, and Gabe is taking the over.
This game won't be on Red Zone much, man.
We'll see. This line opened at 40.5, and it's dropped 3 points. Why? Because the Jets traded their 2 best defensive players. These teams have combined to go 9-7 to the over this season, and 58% of the public is on the under.
Who's that quarterback?
Call me a contrarian. Call me a contrarian. Which one? Which team?
The Jets.
I would be surprised if it wasn't Tyrod Taylor this week.
Okay. And how happy is their number 1 running back going to this game?
Doesn't matter.
How good is their offensive line?
Jim, as someone who has faded the public for years, I thought you would actually appreciate this pick.
This is not. I went and looked this up because I thought it was square. It's actually what I looked at. It was 50-50.
No, it's 58% as of about
But
5 minutes
where
into the
where
show.
you
Please
look at. You can
hold.
look on different things.
You
Go ahead.
rumored to get traded to the Chiefs, and you didn't. You're not going to be mad that you had to stay on the Jets?
I'm not saying he should or shouldn't be mad.
Good God.
I
It's
just
not
think,
my pick.
I mean, if you look at the Jets, they've gone over in a lot of their recent games. They're actually one of the best over teams in the NFL, surprisingly.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, the good
I'm
news
just
is
fading the public on this one. I think the number's too low.
The good news is, Gabe.
The other team.
The good news for Gabe is the absolute worst he can do with this pick is get a minus 37.5. That is the absolute. You cannot do worse than that. So there you go. And then you want to talk about squarey. The Detroit Lions minus 7.5 over the Washington Commanders. I'm not saying I don't like it. I'm just saying I don't know. I can't do it like Gabe does it way better.
He's doing good with his square picks.
He does way better than I do. Go ahead.
I'm 5-1 in my last 2 weeks.
The Huey Long music.
So here's the thing. The Lions were 8.5-point favorites last week, and they lost outright. Teams who have been in that spot are 22-13 against the spread since the beginning of last season. They haven't lost back-to-back games since 2022. And after a loss since that aforementioned span in 2022, they are winning by an average of 17.9 points per game in the following week.
I do like the fact that they have that they lost last week, and usually if they follow up a loss and they play a crappy team, they usually follow it up pretty
Washington?
well.
Yeah,
it's in Washington.
But it's Marcus Mariota, and we all know Dan Campbell is the NFL's Curt Cignetti.
That's what I think about these picks.
It's the NFL's Curt Cignetti. He loves to kick the crap out of bad teams.
Yeah.
I think the Commanders are a bad team, especially with Mariota under center. Give me the Lions in this spot.
I mean, the Lions, going into last night, the Broncos had the lead in sacks with 46. The Lions are in second with 28.
Yeah.
So I mean,
I'm not saying they're not
the quarterback.
I'm definitely not a Mariota fan. I think
Washington's awful.
Yeah. I know, but
I really do.
In the NFL,
they're old as hell too.
It just seems this is a line that to me, and I like to say this every time. This is a line to me that should be like 12.5. Okay, the line should be like 12.5 points. The fact that this is only 7.5, it stinks to high hell. There ain't no way I'm touching this game with a rolled over stick in my driveway. I just ain't touching it. There's something that stinks about it, and I just don't. But I don't feel strong enough to go bet Washington. But I'm not touching this game.
The only thing I don't like, I just don't like. I don't touch Detroit when they outdoors. Just like I said with Indy last week. They played outdoors. Look what happened. 6 turnovers outdoors.
All right, if you're listening
about these indoor teams.
If you're listening, Gabe takes the Houston money line over UCF, the Browns Jets over 37.5, and the Lions minus 7.5 over the Commanders. And now it's time for Breaking the Jinx with UBN.
Uncle Big, can we make some picks today? Well, can we please?
Dun, 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 dun.
Trying to stay positive.
It's a circus, baby.
The text.
I did. I put Pick 'em Friday. That's the pick.
Yeah, and I noticed that when I was looking at the.
I was hoping.
Did you see that, UBN?
Yeah, earlier.
Yes, I did.
You did?
As my eyes were rolling in the back of my head.
Somebody might not have seen it. In case you didn't see it.
Uncle Big, can we make some picks today? Well, can we please?
My mom used to tell me that if I rolled my eyes any further, they'd get stuck in the back of my head, and I feel obligated to tell UBN that right now.
You're gonna get stuck like that.
Your face is
sitting too close to the TV. Anyway. All right, moving on. Let's make your picks. Last week you were 2-1 plus 9.5, and you're starting off with the Steelers and the fighting 49-year-old quarterbacks plus 3 against the Los Angeles Chargers.
That song is strong on the Jinx because my only beat winded up on bad beats this week. So
saw that.
Maybe it'll be reversed since he played it twice.
No, it's always
we don't bitch about bad beats on this show.
I'm not bitching about it. I'm just saying it's bad. I mean, when you
were bitching the other day. You were crying like a bitch the other day.
Well, he said the same, and Gabe said the same thing. That was brutal.
Gabe's the other way. Gabe's that way. There you go. All right, just tell me what you like. Steelers plus 3 over the Chargers. We get.
You know how bad the Chargers' offensive line is? They signed Trevor Penning.
Yeah.
That's how horrible this. TJ Watt. They're gonna have
for a while.
7 sacks. Yeah, out for the year. Their other best lineman's out for the year, and they were bad coming in. I see Pittsburgh just all over Herbert. I don't think he better breathe. And that's the only synopsis I got on this game. That's the only thing I'm going with this. I don't like picking Monday night games because I hate waiting that long. But it should be a Pittsburgh game.
I need some more sound. By the way, I need more sound effects and more. We're gonna have more sound effects, and that is something that's gonna change. Do more little videos, like little intros for UBN, and congratulations to the dumbass of the week. I don't know. Maybe you're a dumbass of the week with this next pick, because we always talk about staying away from our home teams and in the best bets of the week, and you're taking the LSU Fighting Tigers plus 10 against Alabama.
I mean, I picked them against A&M. What could go wrong here? I can't get much worse than that.
I guess eventually, if you keep doing the same crap,
it
can
get worse.
It can get worse.
Absolutely can.
I just think this is too many points. I really do. I think LSU comes out. They play hard. They play inspired. I know Gabe.
I hope I'm wrong.
Yeah, I hope you're wrong too. But it's just something.
LSU winning.
Yeah, it's just something about LSU, Bama, and if you can't get pumped up for this game, and I love teams that fire the coach, and like you said, that nobody has came out and said, "I can't believe they fired this guy." It's like it's a relief on this team that they're fired. I think a big weight's been lifted off. I think a big aggravation has been lifted. It's almost like your parents are out of town and you got the house to yourself. Like, I think LSU comes out and they just play free and they play strong and they play.
I'm free.
I don't think they're going to win. I mean, I could see them losing by a touchdown, though. You know, I mean,
Can I just say this?
You can say whatever you want. By the way, Apathy says Gabe needs a song where he yells 0 point.
I'm trying to find a 0.0 shirt from
raccoon.
That's pretty cool. Roll them.
You do the upside down. Anyway, people said the same thing about A&M and LSU. They said LSU was going to come out inspired because they had to win. It was A&M at home, and they always win.
Kelly was still there.
But there's a difference. And this is why I don't like LSU in this game. Yes, they could come out inspired, but their offense is still shit. They still haven't done anything all year offensively.
You're just mean. You're just being mean.
I'm not being mean. It's true. Their offense is terrible.
I don't know if you might be too mean for this show. I mean, we're nice to people around here. We don't ever call anyone out. We're just we keep it positive, brother. We're keeping things positive, and you're bringing us all down. So speaking of
Tigers,
bringing people down, how about them sea bags? Oh, you never even gave your sea bags pick. Sea bags minus 6.5 before we get to my picks this week.
You want to talk square? I mean,
Cardinals.
You just want to square the hell out of this one. Like, Seattle's way too good to just be given less than a touchdown here. And
my nose is itching. Sorry, y'all.
Everybody's talking about Brissett and how he's played better. What quarterback has Dallas not made look good? Like, I mean, didn't Russell Wilson throw for 400 and something yards against this team, then get benched?
Man, maybe that was Spencer Rattler's problem. He didn't get to play against the Cowboys.
Exactly. I mean, it's just I think Sam Darnold's playing phenomenal football. I think Shaheed is a really good addition to this team. No, I mean, I really do think that. And I love Seattle in this spot.
All right.
I almost picked this. My only reservation was the fact that the Cardinals have not lost a game by more than a score this year.
Can I say something that's probably going to be really good for y'all?
It's your show.
You hate all our picks.
Tell everybody.
I mean, I don't like, me. I don't like to hurt anyone's feelings. I just really don't ever want to hurt anyone's feelings.
That's the first thing you think about.
I don't think that I've ever hurt anyone's feelings in my life, but y'all's picks suck. Maybe that's a good thing. I don't like hardly any. I mean, I like the LSU pick because I picked LSU to win, but I think the Steelers going to get knocked their blocks off, and Seahawks is like as square as a friggin' Rubik's cube.
I mean, I'll take side action.
Okay, well, maybe we'll have some side. I mean, now you're going to try to take advantage of somebody that is trying to make his own job. He just got fired last week, and now
how much money? Just think of the money if you went off my horrible picks.
Just to pay off UBN because I'm going to be wrong about his damn picks. That's where we are right now. All right, this show's getting too long and too out of control. It's time to get to my picks. I'm sure everybody can't wait for them.
Had my first wrong because of us. I can promise you that.
I had my first 0-3 week, maybe ever last week. No, maybe not ever. But anyway, first one in a while. Really bad. It stunk up the joint. We're going to change things this week. And you know what? When you have an 0-3 week, you go back to what has always worked for you. You bet against the public. You find the most outlandish picks, stuff that people would have to really believe in for you to bet.
But
And
what
I'm
I
gonna
do is
pick
a problem.
the Atlanta Falcons.
When you're
I'm getting on
struggling,
the
let's pick
Falcons
Atlanta.
boat plus 6.5 against the Colts, because the Colts soon are going to turn back into who we thought they were. And meanwhile, the Falcons, they seem to always win when they're supposed to lose, and they always seem to get annihilated when they're supposed to win. So they're supposed to get annihilated here. I think they're going to win the football game. They played well. They lost because they missed an extra point last week. If they have any heart whatsoever, and I'm not saying they do, maybe they don't. Raheem Morris stinks. But at least if I lose this pick, I'll actually be able to laugh a little bit at the Atlanta Falcons. But give me the Atlanta Falcons. I think not only do they cover this game, but I think they win this game outright at Indianapolis. I said
it's in Dublin.
It's
sorry.
in Berlin.
It's in Berlin.
Whatever.
Berlin.
Wherever
Yeah, it
it's
starts
at.
it. You know what I meant. Anyway, whatever. I don't care. Give me the Falcons.
I'll be
All
up
right.
watching this game, cheering against you.
I will definitely be up watching this game. I'm interested in this game. All right. I've got the
Atlanta's
same
got
game
offensive
as
line
part of my
issues,
next two picks.
so
If you want to
I
make
don't
a yeah, I know. They haven't been good. That's fine. All right. I've been hating on the Bears.
Mhm.
I'm not trying to hurt anyone's feelings. You know, some Bears
Dom.
friends of ours, they get their panties in a bunch when I start making bad picks. They don't like the
His
Bears, so
club's
we
gonna be in the bunch.
want to talk about side action. The Bears end up having a good season. I'm going to lose my ass. Anyway, in this game here, I'm going to take the Giants plus 4.5, another underdog that I think wins outright. I think the Giants win this game in Chicago outright because I just don't think the Bears are that damn good. They had that miracle win last week against the Bengals. They came out of nowhere. They scored all these points. Dennis Allen is who we thought he was. He sucks. The Bears, and I'm getting to why I like my second bet on this game is the under 46.5, because it's supposed to be 15 to 20 mile an hour winds and possible snow. I think Caleb Williams is super overrated. I think that this game, you want to know the last time, this will back my pick up. The G-Men, when's the last time they played a game that was under 46.5? Does anyone know the answer? It was October 5th against the Saints.
Yeah.
That's the last time they played a game. Since then, they've been scoring it's been like 80, 90 points per game.
And they had 5 turnovers in that game.
Can I just say?
Oh yeah, please say whatever you want.
I'm not going to give any analysis on the pick. I just want to point out the funny segue from the Giants plus 4.5 to the under. You said that Dennis Allen sucks.
So that's why you bet.
Then you go into the under.
No. I'm just trying to find a place to pick on Dennis Allen. That's all.
I get it. Just
you know, I don't think the Bears are going to score that much. That's why. Ben Johnson. You want to talk about overrated? Ben Johnson's overrated. Anyway. So there are my picks. Falcons plus 6.5. I think they went outright. Giants plus 4.5 over the Bears. I think they went outright. And the under 46.5 in the howling wind of the Windy City with potential snow all around. Charles Mangus has been. I think every time Charles Mangus is against me, I've been right. Just saying. Silver Gator says the Bears are not the Cubs. Exactly. The Cubs are good. The Bears stink. That's exactly right, Silver Gator. You tried to like shoot me.
The Cubs have won a championship in the last 50 years.
Saying exactly.
The Bears are poised for an early playoff exit.
When's the last time the Bears won the Super Bowl? UBN was like, I don't know,
5 years old.
85.
You were 5 years old, exactly. And I was I would just graduate in high school.
You wouldn't even. Gabe was his score.
All right. Anyway, all right. No, we're gonna do our pick 'em. You know what? I said there's no Friday show. I actually think there is gonna be a Friday show next week. I'm gonna have to tell Zach. There's no Wednesday show next week. That's what it is. There's no Wednesday. We will do the Pick'em show. It may be a short. I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, I will see you all next week.
All right.
Good.
Adios, boys. If I figure out how to press the button. There it is. Anyway. Sigh. I'm still learning how to do this thing. One of these days I'm going to figure it out. Yeah. We had a lot of fun today, didn't we? Today was a fun Friday, and it was. Rob wants to know if yeah. Look, I endorsed the parlay on the Giants and the under. However, I'm not making that as my official pick because we can't do parlays in our official picks. That's one of the rules we set up. And why would I do a parlay as a best bet? I'm not going to do anything that's easier to lose as a best bet. I pretty much keep it. I got to be honest. I don't play a whole lot of parlays. I do maybe a single game parlay like once every 3-4 weeks. And then I never go more than 4 or 5 legs. Every Sunday I'll pick probably 4 money lines and put those together, and for a very little bit. I'm not into the bingo that a lot of y'all play and pick these 12, 14, 16 leg parlays. I just think that's stupid. If y'all have fun with it, have fun with it. It's great. Gabe says plus 246 on the Giants, 4.5 in the under at DraftKings. Rob says stay warm. It is going to get cold on Monday. S. Callie's leaving us. Got to roll out. We're leaving you too. Who dat and go Tigers? Great show. Thank you. So anyway, I'm just not into the whole parlay thing. All right, we've had a lot of fun as we go out on this Friday afternoon, our first full week by ourselves. It's only us minding the store now. I'm so glad y'all have been I know I said this the other day, but I'm gonna say it again. The response that I've had has been overwhelming. Between the new subscriptions, between the DMs that I've received some emails, I've received a bunch of text from friends. It has been overwhelming. I was on the Final Bet show last night. I'm glad that all the people that have me on their shows, they all said that they still want me on the show. We are going to take this show to a new level. Okay. Going forward, that's what we're going to do with this show. The next live show, by the way, is Monday. We will have Mono Monday. And you know where to find me. All the places are there on the bottom of the screen. But this show is going to continue. And judging by the response that I've received, I'm certain that it's going to continue. And I've already gotten multiple people asking about sponsoring. Hopefully I will be set up to be able to take sponsors by next week. And hopefully we can have some news on that front. Maybe by the end of next week or early the week after, we can have our sponsors in-house. I am excited and pumped about this. Again, as multiple people have reached out to sponsor. If you're interested, please reach out. It'll be very reasonable. I promise you it'll be very affordable if you want to sponsor the show. Charles Manga says, go Tigers, go Saints, go Pels. Absolutely. Ryan says, have a good weekend. Fan of the show. Thank you, Ryan, for being a part of the Dad family. Thank all of you for being a part of the Dad family. That's going to wrap it up for us on this Friday. I want to thank today's guest, Zach and the Pick'em crew. As we said, we hope you can join us next Monday at 11 a.m. Next week, programming note, we'll be on Monday and we will be on Friday. There'll be no Wednesday show. Friday may be just a Pick'em segment. I may not do anything with Zach. We'll see how it goes. So we'll see how next week goes. I need a couple of days off. And then the following week, we will not have a Mono Monday when the Saints are off. Okay, so Monday, Friday, and then the following week it'll be Wednesday, Friday, and then we'll be back to normal. Okay, and again, I'm not going to really be taking time off. I'm going to be out there trying to get some sponsors and all that too. A reminder if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to our Dattitude YouTube page. Click the little bell to receive notifications when we go on the air live. Then you don't have to worry about whether we're going to be on that day or not. We're also really going to kick up the shorts. I promise you. I want to start doing a little morning brief on shorts. I'm going to start doing that soon. Hopefully next week. We'll see. You can also find us where you get your podcasts, including Apple, Spotify, and many more. Always, and soon you'll be able to find a replay of the show on jimderry.com. Coming up soon. Maybe we'll have a newsletter as well. Everyone have a wonderful, glorious, fantastic, beautiful, warm weekend before it gets cold on Sunday evening and into Monday. We will see you on Mono Monday. Who knows? Maybe wearing a parka. Until then, take it easy, my friends.